I
Fuck
care.
you, man. I
All right,
care.
should I do the claps to sync our audio? No, wait, you don't have to do that. Never mind.
No.
Sync our audio.
Sync the audio.
Thanks, Carter.
Oh, yikes. Remember when he
You don't
messed
have
that?
access to this dashboard.
Oh, we
Oh,
switched.
I logged in
streaming on
here.
Twitch
You log
TV
into it. I'll log
dot
out.
No,
of
no,
it.
no, no, no.
I
No,
already
it's okay,
did.
it's good.
I already did. It already happened.
I already logged in. I was signing into mine,
Oh.
so I could host it.
Look at Hunter flexing.
Oh my.
Oh.
Are we live? Am I gonna steal? Oh my fucking god, we're
Oh
live,
my
boys.
God.
Are we live? Hello?
Yes,
Hello, everybody,
we are.
welcome.
Yes, we are live.
Okay,
we are
I'm gonna do
live.
it. Intro. All right. Hello, everybody, and
Effective
welcome
voices.
to the Lobby Talk podcast. The date is January 27th, 2019. My name is Aaron.
My name is Danon.
My name's Hunt Neox.
Oh, you almost slipped up, Neox.
Oh, fuck.
Is that your Christian name?
That's my Christian name, by the way.
My name is Mega Alex.
Oh,
Mega
damn.
Alex. Alright, alright.
Mega Alex.
Mega Superior and Mega Danon.
Well, we're right on time. Starting on time. Our motto is always on time, no problems. That's the motto I live my life by, and that's why I'm such a successful person. That's why I'm a millionaire at 20. Yeah. So we have a short list of topics. Should I just run through what we're kind of gonna go over today?
Sure. Hunter, link it in
You guys
Wolven Rose,
think
by the way. Link the.
A decent idea. So, let me get the show notes up here. So we're going to talk about Anthem quite a lot because you, Danon, and Neox, you guys played a lot of that. I played about, I don't know, maybe a half an hour's worth of Anthem before I was getting kind of a lot of problems, but I still have a few thoughts on it, and I did some reading on it. Alex, how much did you play of Anthem, or did any play any Anthem, or no?
Right now? I don't think. Well, I only played, I don't know, like maybe 2 hours. And
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
One sec. We'll get to all the talk. I'm just doing a quick
Yeah.
rundown of everything first. So
Yeah.
then I want to talk about Origin Access, lots of and the game distribution platforms in general, how they stack up, and how I think Steam is actually probably hasn't been top dog when it comes to good customer service and like a really good business model for a while. Then I want to talk about
shit.
PUBG Lite, and kind of that. A little bit about Outer Worlds, how EA and what EA is doing to the Star Wars IP. Then we had a few other ones about crossplay and cross-platform, like as it relates to games. Specifically, was it Rocket League or what was that?
Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League, and just cross-platform and cross-play. How basically also how the Xbox is kind of turning into a computer, like at this point, and how that's really what that kind of says for consoles and PCs in general. And then Metroid 4, a little bit of that. We'll talk about that. I think that's kind of our brief short list of topics. So where do we want to start, guys? I mean, we can start anywhere. Do we just want to jump right into Anthem?
Sure, I think that's the big
Yeah.
talking point right now.
All right. So yeah, one of you guys should take that away because you guys played a lot more than me.
All right, so I'll start since I was extremely skeptical, jeez, of this game.
Wow.
Okay.
Me too.
I've watched a lot. I've kept up a lot with it, and my biggest fear was the gunplay because having played through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and a little bit of Andromeda, it was always fun to like throw your powers around, but shooting wasn't. At least I never ran really a shooting build. I only ever ran like psychic and stuff. So I was kind of afraid. I didn't know if BioWare really had it in them. But after playing the gunplay, extremely satisfying. The combo system with the abilities is extremely satisfying. And based on the information they've given us, it seems like there's a strong end game. Of course, we'll have to see once it comes out whether or not that's true. But hopefully, it actually is.
Yeah, that's
my
one of
quick-
my fears, the end game. Because
Yeah.
it's going to be PvE only, from what I heard. So that's going to be a little bit.
So
You're darn
no
son.
PvP like for end game stuff. That's just kind of it's more like
Yeah.
you versus the environment. That's kind of how they're gonna keep it running. I wonder. So that's interesting. Yeah, the end game. I mean, especially as game companies go more and more to this like live service thing. Did the stream go down?
No, just keep going. Keep going. I'm dealing
Okay.
with things. Don't worry.
It's okay.
It's up.
So especially as games move forward with their like live or games developers want to push that live service mode. Definitely a strong end game, like keeping players engaged until the next big piece of content comes out. That'll be key, crucial, and I don't know if that'll be interesting for if Anthem has a strong ending point, or if it's just kind of like, oh, there's not much to do after you finish it, and then, well, because that'll be interesting, especially with the EA or Origin access, is it? Because if I wonder how many people are just going to use that, play it, and then if like the end game isn't good enough, they'll just unsubscribe. It's not like they have the game, but like the stronger the more they can keep players, the people who pay that $15 for that content for the just to resubscribe to it. I wonder, that's really interesting to me. So that might mean obviously they're going to want to keep as many people engaged as possible, and I wonder what that's going to like kind of bode for. Landra, what are your kind of thoughts on Anthem so far? What are your general?
I think Anthem is I think it's pretty good. I think there's a lot of potential for the game, but also the game is already met up with some potential it already has. It's got the fighting's really interesting. I think it's pretty interesting. A little bit of clunky. The flying is clunky at first, but you play a couple missions and you get used to it. There's some things that are it's not unoptimized, but Dana told me that the demo it's not optimized at all, so it runs pretty good. I mean, I ran the game at 1440p at 80 FPS on ultra full time, always 80, never above, maybe like below like 78 maybe, but that's pretty good for ultra at that resolution.
Yeah, I think I was the only one who had problems because I had to move it down too low because I just have technical this problems the entire time, especially with like frame rate. It was just jittery, and there was a mouse cursor on my screen for a few times, and that messed me up. Had to switch controller because it just didn't work. And then I got like the infinite node screen like 5 times. So.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, and now do you meet the minimum requirements for Anthem, or are you above it or a little below it, or are you right at the minimum?
I think I'm at the minimum because I just switch all the way too low. Because
right.
Yeah, it was sort of bad. But once I started actually playing, like especially with like the last mission, which we couldn't complete because something happened, it was actually running well. Otherwise, throughout,
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell Anthem isn't optimized for PC. Like from what I played, I guess I probably had a little bit of a different experience because I was one of the people who was affected by kind of how, I guess, buggy it was, which is really interesting. I'm kind of glad that you, Hunter and Danny, that you guys didn't have any bad experiences with that. Like you didn't experience like any crashing or anything. I don't know if it's just because my computer's not latest gen or anything, but I definitely had some like, it was just kind of like, sometimes it wouldn't load, so I only was able to play like half an hour. It just kept kind of kicking me out of some of the matchmaking was in, like, I don't know, I just kept getting kicked out, so I ended up not being able to play too much of it. But from what I did play, I actually really liked. It seems really interesting. I really like the art direction. I love the design of it. I love the kind of I don't know. It's like I love how you go down the town you're in or whatever, the city, and it looks really vibrant. It's like an open marketplace. I really like that look of it. It looks really good. I love it's something completely different. I mean, it's not as, there's a lot of different like cultural influences that are really cool. It's not just the typical kind of, this is just as Western of an influence, which is kind of interesting to see in the game, like especially a big budget AAA title. It's a cool art direction. I really like
that.
I think it was
like
really
sort
cool.
of Middle East stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yes.
it's very,
Yeah.
definitely very a Middle Eastern like approach to it, and I think that's really cool, just because it's something different. Like we haven't really seen a lot of that, especially in like a futuristic kind of. It's just a good way to differentiate themselves from like a Destiny, because Destiny obviously very futuristic, high tech, right? Because people are comparing this to Destiny, like, oh,
Well,
it's
Destiny is more
Bioware's
gripping
Bioware's
versus what
Destiny,
this
and
is. Or-
it's really interesting because it's like they went in a completely different direction. Like the world is very lived in. They do have all this high tech stuff, but I love like it all looks lived in and kind of scuffed. It's like it seems
Yeah.
like everything seems like cobbled together, even though it's futuristic technology. It seems really comparing games. It seems really cobbled together. But I really like it. I think it was a smart move for them to do that kind of art direction, because it definitely differentiates themselves. Because people are like, wow, it's a Destiny clone. It's like, well, not really. I mean, at least the art direction is different. It's probably, I mean, to what I played, it doesn't play like it's a little bit more, I guess, clunky. In fact, it's like a little less fluid, and I wonder if that's what they're. It seems a little like you do turn a little bit slower. I don't know. It's interesting, but I think it played well. You can tell it's not optimized for PC yet, because I hated going into places and you'd have to like hold down F to like interact with someone. Like,
Yes.
okay, they need to get rid of that. I would
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
launches and that feature's still in there. That's a no go.
The UI
right there.
is just so it's
But
Yeah,
that's every
really
Bioware
cluttered.
game.
There's too much going on, and
Mm.
it needs to be streamlined, because right now it's very obviously made for consoles. 100%. That's the priority, consoles right now. So
Yep.
Yeah.
it's just a mess on PC to deal with.
Actually, I don't know. Is the release date for PC different? Is it a couple weeks delayed from
So
console?
I don't
like
know if
usual?
consoles have Origin access, like Premiere or whatever. So it may not have the early release on consoles, but the earlier release is February 14th. If you have the
I'm
like
pretty sure there's. I
special
think
edition.
there's like this EA thing that you can get on Xbox, and I think you can get early on that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they
what is
own-
that? EA,
It's called EA Access. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Access, yeah.
which is confused. Which is like, okay, so now there's
It's like-
two. So again,
there's
is that
different
as
releases.
good? Is that like kind
So
of the same
EA
as Origin
Access is Origin Access, not Origin Access Premiere. So
Oh wow, okay. So Origin Access Premiere, that has all the older PC games. Like I was looking at, speaking of which, so I guess it's kind of. I mean, we want to talk a little bit more about Anthem, or do we want to go into?
the only thing is Anthem seems like it's doing like it's gonna be good, and we'll just
Yeah,
have
I'm surprised.
really the end game will be its either downfall or it'll be its success story. So we'll see.
Yeah, that and
I-
depending on how many like things they sell through the market. Like I heard suits are going to be sold,
Yeah,
right?
so they've
Like
mentioned
premium-
monetization, mainly cosmetics,
Which is-
unless they need money, then they'll sell javelins. So
Yeah. So which is
Yeah.
interesting.
It's EA.
I mean, it's kind of scummy because at least it's not PvP, which is a little bit more scummy if you could pay for advantages. I mean,
Yeah.
it is PvE, but still, I don't like the fact that you can pay for an in-game advantage. I just think that's kind of, but. I mean, we'll just have to see how unfair it is, or if it's just
Yeah,
like,
if
oh,
they
you can
end
buy
up
a
doing
couple
it.
suits. Yeah, exactly. You can buy a couple suits with the
Oh no.
with the credit system, because there's two different credits. There's like the javelin currency. Wait, what is it? There's like
there's
the
coin, and then there's some gem currency.
and the gem currency. I assume is the premium one,
Probably yes, I'm
of
assuming.
course, because the coins
Yeah, the
are what you get
gems
like
are.
in game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
and
Well,
it's what's I think
guess
was
it's-
really scummy is they made all the cosmetics 25 coin. So we have no idea what it's gonna be like in the actual game. Like if those
Right,
cosmetics
right, I
are
saw that, I
super
saw that.
expensive.
Yeah.
and it's
I
like,
saw that in the loading
great.
screen where it's like in the demo, all cosmetic items are 25 coins. I'm like, in the demo? What?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice way of avoiding another Star Wars, another Battlefront 2.
Yeah. So we'll
Situation.
see
Yeah.
what happens with
Good
that.
job.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
they learn from that and just
Yeah.
be much more careful.
You'd hope.
It'd be really nice if they learned from it. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe it
Does
was
he?
gonna be way worse, and because of the backlash, like,
But EA is
Yeah,
a
it-
company who likes to just push as far as they can, like really hard, and then they realize, oh, we did it. We did too. But
Oh
that was
my
bad.
God.
Let's just go back a little bit. Okay, that was too bad.
Yeah.
Let's just go back a little bit and a little bit.
A little bit more.
just
see how much people will take before they get really
Yeah.
angry, and it's
Mhm.
like, well, okay, that's
It's
awesome.
just like that's EA.
But surprisingly good move from EA. I don't know if it is a good move, but it's interesting for sure. Is the Origin Access subscription, or what is it, Origin Premiere?
Origin
right?
Access Premiere. Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like the $15 a month and you get a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about this. Really, I don't know if it's been advertised a lot, but this is the first I was hearing about it because obviously I don't really use Origin, which is a shame because, I mean, I think as like selling platforms go, Origin used to be pretty bad. Like it used to not be optimized really well for PC. I mean, there's the old joke; it just kind of blows your computer up. But
Yeah.
now it runs really. It doesn't take up a ton of like
Resources.
memory or resources on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It runs really well, actually. It has a lot of games, especially with that Access bundle. I'll just go through the list of like
It's
of
over
all the
180
games. There's
games,
like
so
yeah,
it's almost
so
200.
you have games from all the way from A Way Out, which is like a pretty recent game. You can get Anthem, and the weird, interesting thing with Anthem is you get it with all the DLC, which is actually makes sense, right? So like you're paying $15 a month and you get it with all the DLC. That's really interesting. That's I think really a really good
Yeah. So
way to
what,
go.
what they do with it is any new release that EA does, you get that, and usually like the special edition of that game is what you get with Premiere.
Yeah.
So
And that to me makes it worth it. But like if you go in here, and I just bought it to play the Anthem demo, but I'm thinking I might keep it because I like it has all the Dragon Age games. It has all the Mass Effect games. And I've only played Mass Effect 2 just because I couldn't really be bothered. I was like, but like, they have a bunch of indie titles. They have Hand of Fate. They have Hearts of Iron 3. They have all the Victoria games. I don't know if you're familiar. It's by the same studio who makes Hearts of Iron. They have I was looking through. They have like all the Arkham games. They have the Mad Max game. They have Mass Effect Andromeda, which is but what's interesting with this is like even if a game like they have enough games on here to keep me interested. I'd be like, wow, I haven't actually played a couple of these games. I might as well keep it on. And then, if they can keep people subscribed until a new game comes out, they're like, oh, well, I'll just keep it play this new game for a month or whatever. I mean, it's just, depending on how many people they can keep there. I mean, right now, I'm really impressed with the subscription service, especially because you can shop around. You can say, oh, I'll try this game. I don't really want to play this. I mean, they have Spore. That's a big seller for me. No, but I mean, they have just go through it. They have a bunch of games, and they're all good quality games. And I wonder. Some of them obviously are just filler games where you probably won't ever play them. But
I mean, one of the things with the Access Premier is that you not only get these games for free, but all the games you currently do own, you can upgrade to their final form, I guess you could call them. So if you have Battlefield 4,
exactly.
you get everything for Battlefield 4, and if you get this, you get Anthem plus the pre-order edition. It's $120 or $80, right? $80.
Yeah.
it's 80 for sure. I know that.
To me, that's really interesting.
As
And
long
I
as you pay the monthly fee, but
exactly. But $15. I mean, again, subscription fees obviously are a great way to make money. That's how people. I mean, back in the day, you used to buy iTunes was a thing, right? And you'd buy each of your songs individually. Now no one does that. Everyone has Pandora, Spotify, or they pirate their music, or they watch it on YouTube. But like people, people subscribe. You don't go on and buy your music on iTunes. You're like, who cares? All my music's in the cloud, and I'll just pay $10 every month so I can listen to literally every song instead of having. I'd rather be able to listen to every song, and then not own any of them, as opposed to owning 50 of my favorite songs, because I can just go and listen to whatever I want. I mean, Netflix, just like, I can just pay and just watch any movie I want, this month or whatever. There's just subscription services are the way to go. And like PlayStation, wasn't the PlayStation Now? They tried one.
It still is working. It's PlayStation 3 games.
First.
It's just it's not super well fleshed out, which is a shame, or was a shame. But depending on how successful Origin, Premier, Access, or whatever that is, I feel like it's really good.
It also gives you 10% off any purchase. So
see, and again, so that also is just another. It's not. I was actually surprised. It's like, wow, how can this be from boys over at EA?
Yeah, I know.
Like I was surprised. But it also goes to show you that, I mean, Steam, I don't think, has been top dog for a while now when it comes to games. Like, good old games is probably a better alternative. Even the Epic Store these days is probably a better alternative. I wonder how much. I mean, the only reason I'm still on Steam is because that's what I started with, right? Like, I have most of my games on Steam anyway. But like, I wonder if there's enough things like for Origin Access, it's like, well, I might just switch and buy my games on there, depending on how, how good it gets and how many options they get, or good old games or something like that. So I wonder how kind of that subscription format is going to change games, because also now developers can go, oh, well, listen, guys, we got to make this game, right? And we're not looking to see how many copies we ship on release. We're going to see how many subscriptions we can keep and how many people we can keep, subscribed throughout, right? So it's like, oh, let's just increase our subscriptions and the people staying on as resubscribing customers, the whole live service thing. So to me, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if one of the reasons they went this route was because of the success that Games with Gold and PS Plus had with offering you new games every month, and as long as you had that subscription service, you had those games in your library.
you can just have it. Yeah.
As long as you were there when they released, yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. So this is taking kind of a little bit farther and making it a little bit more just here's our subscription.
more
It's like a
Netflixy.
Netflix for
yeah.
Which who would kill this, and they're not going to ever do it because they're Nintendo. But if Nintendo had all their back catalog of old retro games, how their retro system kind of sucks. But like if they had a thing where you could, I can pay $10 and get.
Well, so
freaking-
that's the thing is, I feel like it's wasted potential right now with Nintendo because they do have a system kind of like that with their online.
I know that's the thing,
But
but it's
it's
like what you
just-
get one game.
It's I think it's 2 or 3 games every month, but they're all like,
It's like
Really,
I mean,
not big games.
It's like,
no,
why?
I mean,
But,
I
like,
love
there's
Super
so many
Mario
good
Bros.
ones.
3. I love, the Dr. Mario, right? All those original games, Legend of Zelda,
Yeah.
but they're all games I could just like emulate really easily. Not saying
Yeah,
that
I
like
know.
you should, but I'm like, it's just
Just
I
saying.
feel like
Like
if you released Super Mario
Exactly.
Sunshine on that, like, oh my god, there you go.
I know. Could you imagine if they if they just released their entire back catalog, which probably wouldn't be that hard to do because we already know there's already emulate. Yes, there are
Yes.
emulators
Yeah,
out
there's
there where you can get pretty much every Nintendo game. They released their entire back catalog, and you could play it on a Nintendo system with a Nintendo controller, and they could go even do a thing where they sell like retro controllers. So I can play my emulated GameCube games with my GameCube controller or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like or not emulated, but my officially licensed Nintendo games, and it's like, it's $10 a month, and I get literally all these Nintendo games. You know how many people would line up to buy that? Like, there's like Castlevania, Metroid, all the Earthbound games. Like, God, you could just. There's so many games that they'd make a killing, but I don't think they'll ever do because they're Nintendo, and sometimes they make weird business decisions.
They're just a little behind, and
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Nintendo is with stuff like their exclusives, with like Mario and Zelda, they own it, so they can do anything like they want. Like right now, like all their own own properties are $60 no matter what on the store.
yeah,
Like maybe going down to like $10 maybe, like every once in a while. But I mean, they're old fashioned with that stuff, so it's really hard to say if they're even can consider like service stuff for a while
Mhm.
with that old adage.
I mean, yeah, exactly. They're just old-fashioned. They're behind the times for sure when it comes to pretty much everything. I mean, they make really good games, but
and they're
be
trying to
behind,
catch up. But I think
Yeah.
it's really weird seeing them try to catch up because they're making these mistakes that are like, it's so obvious that that's not how it should be done. Like with their
I know.
Nintendo app, instead
Yeah,
of just
like-
having
Yeah, like Splatoon, you have to use your phone to like.
And
To
the
party
friend
up.
code system? The friend code system, isn't that a
God.
complete mess? I don't have a
Oh,
Switch, so I wouldn't know,
Jesus.
but like,
Yeah.
doesn't it suck?
Friend
Doesn't
codes.
Smash
Oh my
like
God.
aren't half
Like-
your games in like Smash? Don't they just like time out?
it's it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I wonder who is making these decisions because you literally just have to look at Microsoft or Sony and
Yeah,
you'll see
I know.
the correct way to do it because they've been doing it
Yeah, it
for
doesn't make-
for 10 years now.
It's so weird. It's so weird to me. It's bizarre. It's like that they don't you have to get an app to talk to people
Yes.
like voice
Yeah.
chat? It's like. But also you can listen to music on your Switch. Don't you guys want to do that? Have you seen that video where it's the lady's like,
Yes,
"You
and
can
they
also
stick it in their
turn off your
backpack."
Switch," and she puts the in her purse, and like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use my Switch to listen to music instead of my phone.
Yeah, that's a great
Okay.
example of old.
Perfect.
Oh,
It's like,
So you guys all
that's
have
something
phones,
that-
right?
what? Yeah. Don't you guys have
No.
phones?
man, I don't.
Yes.
Voice, by the
It
way.
doesn't, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. But I know the whole, if Nintendo did this back catalog thing, the subscription, just off of Nintendo games, they would make a killing. But
Mhm.
that's not going to happen. So, rest in peace.
It took them-
So are we done talking about those?
Alex was gonna say something really quick.
Oh, Alex, yeah, no problem.
I was gonna mention the fact that it took them a year to put YouTube on the Switch. So it's
It did take
Dang.
a while. It took 'em a while.
There was like nothing. Yeah, right. The Switch was so bare bones when it launched, right? It was just kind of like,
yeah.
You should see the online eShop now. The amount of just
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
What
it's
the eShop
bloatware,
is.
honestly, at this point. There's
It
just
really
Yeah.
is. There's some weird stuff.
yeah.
Not
Every
even
That's
week,
awesome.
There's like games from PETA on there.
yeah, yeah,
So-
a really weird PETA game.
wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nintendo. They make it's so weird. It's almost like they're two different companies. It's like, wow, on one hand you have Smash, which is like arguably probably one of the best Smash games that's ever come out, from what I hear. And then it's like, oh yeah, and also you can use your Switch to play music, but no integrated voice chat, by the way. Like the fuck? Why?
This turned into a rant on Nintendo. Alright, that's
my god.
Oh, rant about Nintendo. The boys over
Well,
at
I mean,
Nintendo.
I love Nintendo, all right, man. Freaking
Yeah, no, they're a
lifelong
great.
Nintendo
I get it, they
fan,
make
but-
great games and they make good consoles and they innovate in the industry. You know, the Switch is a really innovative console. It's a great console, but like also it's like
It's that
decisions.
it's that thing where it's like you love them so much that you want to see them do well. So when they make
Exactly.
mistakes that are so obvious, it's like, come on, man, I know you can do so much better. Like just I wish Nintendo
Yeah.
was just a little smarter in some areas. That's all.
Oh, and there we
Roasted
are.
by
Yeah,
Nintendo.
my Switch is
Roasted by Nintendo. As ever, yeah. Hold up your Switches, guys. I mean, I want to buy a Switch. Like Smash looks
Switch is
amazing.
up.
Smash looks super fun. The only reason I don't
Smash
think
is
I get
very
it is 'cause
fun.
the matchmaking kind of sucks. I'm like,
I mean,
why?
A little
'Cause
bit.
Smash looks amazing.
maybe wait because there are rumors for a new Switch this year. Either a Switch
A new
Mini
Switch.
or a enhanced version of the Switch. So
Oh, I'll get that enhanced version because
see.
I'm a pro. It's like the iPad Pro.
Hopefully
Gotta get the
grips.
pro version of everything.
yeah,
The
so
new
we'll see.
Hopefully it has
3DS XL.
It's a rumor, so I don't know if it's. We'll see if.
Dang,
it actually is
Dane.
happening.
Don't be spreading fake news around
It's
here.
just a rumor.
No,
I'm
but-
just giving a little.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Hey,
things
thanks for the heads
being said
up.
around.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, if anything's made me want to get a Switch more than anything, it's probably Smash. And I haven't played. I mean, Smash for the Wii kind of sucked. That's like the.
Brawl.
But Melee obviously is
What?
really fun.
That's how me and Dane bonded for the first time.
Yeah, 99
Yeah.
stock battles.
Everyone knows GameCube Smash is probably the best one. But
Hell.
I'll be one of those people. Melee was the best Smash.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
So, Bombo or
all
sicko
right.
mode?
I don't know if
I
we
mean,
can start that
we
debate.
want to talk about Andre. You wanted to bring up like cross-platform, cross-play with the Xbox and like Rocket League and stuff.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
one of the main things is, I mean, Rocket League and Rocket League's kind of going beyond what was considered crossplay now, is because now they have crossplay right now. They have crossplay. You can party up with people, but then they're gonna have a friending system where you can friend people and party up with them. Oh no, you can't party up yet, but you will be able to party up. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a friend system, which is kind of insane because there's crossplay and then there's like full crossplay where you can party up with people. But crossplay right now is you can play with them, but you can't party with them. Whereas crossplay with Rocket League is gonna be you can party up with people from different consoles and play games together, which is pretty nutty.
So
Yeah.
are you going to have to create your own Psyonix account? Because I know that's how Fortnite does it. Is you have your Epic Games account, and that's what connects the crossplay.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't know about is how they're gonna do it. If they're gonna make a whole another thing where they just kind of transfer your account in
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well,
but
I
that's
mean-
what they said. Soon we're gonna have partying. Which is
That's
And
cool.
is Sony even on board with this? Because they've been notoriously stupid
Sony
when
is
it comes
now.
to. Oh well, finally,
Thanks
good
to
job.
Fortnite.
Thanks. Yeah,
Thanks
of
to
course.
Fortnite.
Thanks to that backlash,
yeah.
or was that? Nintendo also, right? If you had a Nintendo Fortnite account, or well, I forgot what it was, but there was if you logged into Fortnite from your Sony account, you couldn't
Yeah, it
like
wouldn't.
play it on PC or something
Yeah,
like that.
it wouldn't let
You
you
couldn't
play
Oh
transfer the
anymore.
yeah,
account.
It was really, really weird.
Sounds awesome. I mean, they were the ones who rejected mods from when Bethesda put Skyrim and Fallout on
Yeah.
there. They were like, no mods, except for like the 4. We'll curate them specifically. We'll have our own
Yes,
guy curate.
that was
each,
very.
Yeah.
bizarre. It's like again being behind the. It's like almost as bad as Nintendo when it comes to that kind of garbage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like. Oh, sorry, Tim. No,
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, other games, it's becoming a much more common thing now with crossplay, especially because Fortnite has become so popular and it's kind of pushed people. We have Minecraft doing it, and so now, like,
well, crossplay is like the dream, really.
yeah, it is. Hoping that, like, especially
Yeah.
with fighting games, that would be amazing. Street
That would
Fighter
be
did it
amazing.
with PS4 and Steam. There's crossplay between those. And now we have other shooters like Hi-Rez is doing it with Paladins. They have and Smite. There's cross-play and cross-progression. So the way it
Really?
works,
So you can
yeah,
go. Oh, I'm gonna game on my PS4 right now. Then just go over and hop on my Switch in bed, and
Yep.
it'll be I get XP from
Yeah.
both or whatever.
and
Personally, I hope for Destiny.
yeah, that would be amazing if we could get
The one
Destiny or
thing-
something.
One thing I fear still, and a controversial topic, alarm system, is that we can't have shoot 'em games like PlayerUnknown's and Call of Duty mixed with crossplay. Is
Yeah.
what I feel, because people
Well,
are kind of
yeah.
gonna get
So-
shite on.
I agree, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
especially with what Microsoft's doing with allowing just straight up keyboard and mouse play on the Xbox, that
Yeah.
there could be an easily implemented system that just says, hey, if you're using a keyboard and mouse, this is what Paladins does. If you're using a keyboard and mouse, you're going to be playing with keyboard and mouse players. And so basically it locks out your controller so you can only play with keyboard and mouse on your Xbox while you're playing against other people with
Yeah,
keyboard and mouse.
for Gears of War 4, I played it both on PC and on Xbox. On Xbox, you have an option to play with just people who are using controllers, or can have an option with people who also have keyboard and mouse. So it's like a mix. And for PC, it's just whoever match you can, because obviously there's less PC. But it's
Yeah.
like it's still pretty balanced, because I still got like really good players with controllers, so I wasn't like at a disadvantage. But I could see, because sometimes when you're like running, you just turn around, nash or somebody in the face with a PC.
Mm.
So it's like, I mean, still pretty good from what my experience. That
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, the fact that, I mean, it seems like the lines between like PC and console are getting more and more blurred, and eventually I assume it's going to be almost non-existent, because first of all, the fact that we don't really have console generations anymore. It's just like an iteration of a console every 2 years. It's like we have the Xbox One S and the I don't even freaking know. But Xbox, Microsoft especially, is going more of the thing where we're basically just a PC now, and the fact that you can now plug in a keyboard and mouse for the most part. I think there's some things where it's not every mouse, it doesn't support like every single mouse or keyboard, but
yeah,
for the most part you can like plug in your mouse and keyboard and play on your Xbox with a mouse and keyboard, which is like really interesting. And honestly, it's like why not? Like it's like it doesn't at this point it doesn't even matter. As things it'll just be a thing where consoles and PC will eventually become almost indistinguishable, where it'll just be like I don't know, they'll just be so intermingled, hopefully, because that'll be better for everybody, is if you can have cross-play, cross-platform. I mean, obviously, yeah, there could be there's definitely unfair disadvantages when it comes to someone playing with a controller as opposed to someone with a mouse and
that's
keyboard.
like really gonna be the only issue.
Yeah, but also, if the people who are playing on the controller, if it's just like up front, it's like, you may experience this game is this match is cross-platform. There are people with mouse and keyboard that may have an in-game advantage or whatever. People know about that. I mean, everyone knows it's like it might be more fun to just play with a larger player base anyway, because if Call of Duty can have its Xbox people and its PC people, like Titanfall is dead on PC, but I'm pretty sure it's probably still fairly alive over on Xbox like it might be, right, alive over there
most
somehow,
games really.
because there's a little bit less.
Yeah.
There's not as many options on Xbox, but there are games that are thriving over on Xbox where they're dead on PC, and they could both bring life. It could be a really good way to kind of bring life to a dying game, I
Yeah.
guess. But
I feel like
That's true.
I feel like also people just don't care as much anymore. Like it's just
Yeah.
oh yeah, you have an advantage because you have keyboard and mouse, but if I beat you with controller, then I mean, does that really matter? I
Damn.
still beat you with a
Also,
controller,
yeah.
like
there's been people who prefer controllers for whatever reason, but that's just what they're good at. And there are people who they'll hold their controllers in a weird way, and they're
claw.
super good. They're
So, like,
they'll hold it
like,
like this.
Okay.
I go like that.
So I knew a
rock it
guy
like
who
this.
held his controller like this, right?
Okay.
And
Oh, fuck off.
he like,
Okay.
I was like, damn. Oh, do you hold your controller like that, Alex?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God, you're one of them. You're one of them.
Did
You're
for
a pro
Destiny.
gamer, dude. Holy shit.
I did for Destiny, and then a year later, I Destiny 2 came out.
Dang,
Wow.
dude. See? I mean, but also there are people who are just actually there are probably people who could, with keyboard and mouse and then with controller, they'd probably still beat me.
oh yeah, I know people who beat me with controller and I have keyboard and mouse. I'm
yeah.
like, well, I guess
And
I'm just
also
bad.
auto aim. I know auto aim's kind of yikes, but maybe they just do a more severe auto aim for the console people, like it just locks on faster or something.
No,
There are
there's
probably
actually
there are workarounds to make it work, and I'm sure people will figure it out, because when money is involved, when you can get more of your audiences interacting and buying more things, that's the dream, and that's that's where innovation happens.
there's also
So-
more access to more pro controllers, I guess, where there's bumpers on
Yeah.
back. Like I saw it the other day at Walmart. It was like a $40 Xbox controller with the bumpers on the back, and it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like clawing, but
Hmm.
without your finger going over the buttons.
Yeah, I've seen those where they're freaking janky, but yeah, there's also ones where the different triggers push different buttons,
Yeah.
so it's all trigger based, and people play like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
just at that point, I'd be like, yikes! But damn, those people are committed. I tell you
All the
what.
guys at my work use those controllers. They use only pro controllers, and they have assigned buttons, and they only play PUBG. But also, going off of that, what my guys at work said, I heard from the guys at work that
There we go.
Xbox, you can now choose your hertz, and you can go up to 120 hertz at 1080p on PUBG.
Wow.
Dang.
You can get
So they're-
120
again,
frames at
it's
1080.
Microsoft will definitely head the front for this because they own Windows, and so
Yes.
they don't really care. I'm sure if they
Yeah, they
ship
haven't
as
cared
many
for a while.
copies of Windows as they do Xboxes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either way for their bottom line. Like, the more people using Microsoft products, the better. So, I mean, and all PCs run Windows, so we're all technically slaves to Microsoft. Not all PCs. I know people use Linux, like the 4 people who use Linux. But,
Ubuntu, jeez.
yeah, yes. But I mean, it is what it is, and I think Microsoft definitely is going to head the charge, and it'll just be a matter of time. I feel like there's always the separation in my mind between consoles. Nintendo always seems different. They're always in a different space in my mind, and I don't know if that's.
Well, it's
They always
'cause-
just seem different because the
Nintendo-
Wii was a weird console. The Wii U was a weird console, but
that's
the
Nintendo.
Nintendo,
Yeah, it's Nintendo.
you could only get that experience. Like,
Nintendo thing.
for however much people argue about PlayStation versus Xbox, like the relatively the same console, right? Like you'll
Yeah.
get a pretty similar experience. But if you buy a Switch, nobody owns. It's usually someone's like, do you have a PlayStation or an Xbox, and you'll have
Yeah.
a Switch. So you'll have. There's nobody who has a PlayStation and an Xbox. I mean, there probably are some people,
are.
but like it's more like
Oh yeah.
people you either own a PlayStation or an Xbox and whatever Nintendo product. That's just how that's how I always was. Is like you either had a PlayStation and a Nintendo product or an Xbox and a Nintendo product.
Yeah.
And no
Nintendo always
matter
seems
what,
different.
your mother will call it Nintendo.
Exactly. You're playing on your Nintendo again? Yeah. My mom always calls it the
Yeah.
Wii.
Oh, mom, it's an Xbox.
You're on your Wii. No, but yeah. But no, so Nintendo always seems different, so they'll probably be the last where it's kind of like. But again, their consoles don't really fit typical.
Well,
They've never really been typical.
They share a different part of the market space, and they've mentioned before, like Reggie has made statements that they're not trying to compete with Sony and Microsoft. Like
Right.
he said, I'm just gonna let them do their thing, and we'll be in our own little space, and we'll just occupy
Yeah.
that area. This little.
They
Nintendo
always, I mean,
space.
ever since the GameCube, it's like the GameCube, the Wii U, and the Switch. They're all different and interesting. I mean, depending on how much love you have for each of those. I mean, the Wii is like
Yeah.
probably the most influential console ever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's because it was so casual. It was so different. I mean, the whole motion control thing. I mean, you can hate Nintendo for pushing motion control on everybody and all that.
And then
But, like,
everybody else responded
and
to
then
it.
like Xbox Connect. Oh my God, epic!
Sony Move
Uh,
or PlayStation
And
Move.
old people
But yeah.
can play it.
I feel like maybe there'll be a come a time where it's like Nintendo are the only people who are making a console that actually is functionally different than a computer. You know, like
Yeah.
they'll probably never have Mario. The Mario will never be released to PC, or if it is, it'll be a long time from now. I'd be surprised. I mean, although maybe I'm wrong because they've branched out. They have Mario games
Yeah,
on mobile.
I was
They
gonna
have
say.
they've kind of branched out. So maybe you know what? There might be a Mario game on PC, but it'll be wholly different to what you could get as on an experience on like the Switch or the 3DS or whatever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
dang,
I
we're
don't
talking
see
about
them do
Nintendo
that.
a lot this time,
Yes,
boys.
we are.
Yeah, we are. we were
Reggie
Nothing
gave me
wrong
a
with
fat
Nintendo.
stack of dollars.
Nothing
We
wrong
don't even
with
have it in
Nintendo.
the show. We don't even have to talk about Nintendo in the
Dude.
show. And it's
I mentioned
But we're
it.
gonna
going to
talk
talk about
about
it
it.
anyways.
yeah.
If you want to
Why
transition,
you rant?
Yeah,
Oh,
Nintendo rant. God
Well-
damn Nintendo.
something else with Nintendo is which is an interesting change in the gaming industry is they've been very transparent with a recent
Oh yeah.
thing that happened with development. They completely restarted the development of Metroid Prime 4. And they have given development over to Retro Studios, the guys who made the original Metroid Primes and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, as well as I think a Mario Kart game. I think.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So and the Donkey Kong games for the Wii U were great. Tropical Freeze, I played
Yeah,
a little
Tropical
bit of it.
Freeze
Was
is great.
awesome.
Great Donkey Kong game.
And so now we have the original developers. They released a video and they basically said, "Hey, we screwed up. This game it's turning out bad. So we're pulling it back. We're restarting and we're handing it over to Retro." And I was like, "Wow, that's
Can someone
very
please
different."
play some clips from Other M for a second? No, just
No,
kidding.
please.
Yeah, that's so surprising that they're that being
Other-
this transparent.
Mhm.
Like with like, oh yeah, our game is literally a pile of garbage. So we're gonna give it to the guys who did it right, like the last time. So that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
And I think it's
yeah,
a
especially
reflection.
in the industry right now.
Yes. The gaming industry is kind of becoming more and more transparent. I think they're realizing that the fans
People get angry.
very mad, yeah, when you don't tell
There's
them
only so
what's
much
going on.
abuse people
Yeah.
can put up with
Yeah.
before they'll stop buying your stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's an
See,
interesting
that,
shift.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I watched that video today and I was like, this is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
He was basically, yeah, the game sucks. We're scrapping literally everything and starting over. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, awesome, okay, interesting. But that's cool because for people who like, I mean, it's kind of a nice thing. I mean, they could have shipped a shitty game that would have probably sold copies,
Oh yeah.
but do it because of their commitment to making a good game, which is really impressive. So, good on you, Nintendo.
Well, it's Miyamoto's like old like saying like I forgot it. Like
It's
a delayed game is no wait.
it's a delay. It's like a bad game is always bad, and a delayed game will eventually be good. Or a rushed game
Oh,
will
wow.
be bad, and a delayed game will eventually be good.
You know what?
Yeah.
True.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's wise.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Wise
Miyamoto.
between boys and Nintendo.
Real talk. Miyamoto.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
RP.
Well,
He's.
Dana's flipped. Oh my
Oh,
God,
it's
Dana, you ruined the
Flip.
stream.
Oh, I'm
So you
flipped.
guys want to
Dana's
talk about
flipped. I'm scared.
something that
Yeah.
kind of interested me? Boys want to talk about
Flipper.
PUBG Lite. As interesting as this is, I mean, it was interesting to
PUBG
me.
Lite.
Nice.
I saw that, yeah.
Basically,
That is what exactly? Like
I was
that
totally
just
unprepared
seems so
for
weird
this.
to me. What is that?
so this is apparently it's a soft launch in Thailand right now. So
Right.
this was their, it's a low spec version of PUBG. I mean, and so basically, so PUBG can run on lower tier systems. So it's just a worse. It's downgraded PUBG for emerging markets, like in Thailand, in maybe India, in places that don't have like aren't as built up or whatever.
What are you trying
And
to
it's kind
say,
of interesting
Aaron?
to see this. It reminds me
Like, bro.
of countries whose economies aren't as strong as typical Western markets.
Okay.
Because this is really interesting. I don't know, like it was just interesting to me to read this because obviously there's the Diablo Immortal and Fortnite is on phones, and this merged to downgraded kind of games to get into other markets
Yeah.
and to take, to be able
It's
to
money.
crack into those markets. To me, I mean, I feel like it's probably a good thing. I mean, I wonder how much of this means. How many studios are going to be like, wow, we should really just make we should make this a little bit crappier graphics wise so we can release it on mobile, or so we can give it to everybody, so we can have it released everywhere and more people will buy it, right? Which
Yeah.
isn't always going to be good for people with high end tech, and for like if you want a really graphically, performing game. But it was just really interesting to me to see this from them, because obviously lots of people have phones, lots of people have probably really old tech computers. In Thailand, those are the places. They have really big, giant gaming cafes. I'm pretty sure over there. I think that's one of the ones I read about. Maybe
Might be in Thailand.
Well, China,
Maybe.
like
it might be. I mean,
always have.
and those are just kind of like they don't even own the computers, but it'd be kind of cool, like if they can go in there and play. I mean, it might not be Thailand. I don't think that's right. But anyway, lower gen tech. So it's kind of interesting to see that. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it just kind of interested me to see how many games companies are going to be like, wow, let's release a low grade version of our game somewhere else so we can get more players in and more whatever.
You see, I think there's a bigger thing around that. So,
Mhm.
one of the big things with PUBG, people give it terrible reviews because they get people, or what is it? They get people from China or something,
Mhm.
Hacking?
Mhm.
and they're hackers.
Yes.
So I think they're trying to make it available more so they can just say, here, all China servers, boom.
Oh,
They only
interesting.
play there.
Oh,
They're
poor
locked
all the
there,
people in
so we're
Thailand, poor
here.
guys. They're
Yeah.
gonna all get wrecked by Chinese hackers. That sucks for them. No, that is really interesting. Yeah, because I've heard that the whole everyone hates it because there's tons of hacking over from China. But obviously, they probably don't want to ban those players or like crack down on it because they're probably getting lots of money from that from
Yeah.
everyone in
Huge
China.
in
Yeah.
China.
So they're not going to stop it. Which again, it's like. Again, that's the thing of how the Western market isn't always. It's not always going to be the deciding factor anymore, and it probably hasn't been for a while now. Where there's going to be things where they're like, we got to crack into this market. We got to look at the global scale of this. So, yeah, that's really that's interesting that you bring that up. So if they have like the east servers or whatever for whatever, that's interesting.
So they can region lock. Because everyone says region
So
lock
they can
China.
region
It's literally every comment.
Dang.
Every comment on every update is region lock China.
Region lock
So
China.
I think
Damn, it's
that's
that
what they probably
bad.
do.
Yeah, it's
I guess it's
honestly-
that bad. I don't think it's that bad because I've never had that experience while playing PUBG, and I have like
Yeah, neither have I.
276 hours. I don't think I've maybe had like one or two hacker experiences out of 276 hours played. But
Well, maybe that's all the people. You were at a pretty high tier, right? You were at kind of a.
I don't think I don't even know if
Is
there
there
is tier list
matchmaking?
because
But like,
I
well,
don't-
isn't there a matchmaking?
maybe
How many
there is
like
now.
chicken dinners you get or whatever? Where it's like, so maybe you were at a higher level, and those are people in like elo hell, basically going like, oh, I
Maybe-
never win, and there's all these hackers. So it could be just
Maybe 'cause I
the
don't-
majority of the player base on the low side.
'cause one time when me and Lane were playing, we got killed by a streamer that plays the game constantly, and we just got freaking wrecked. And we went over to his stream, and it's like, oh yeah, we just got wrecked by that guy. It was like
Yeah,
a
so
popular
you
streamer that
I'm
gets like
guessing, to be
10K
honest,
views.
yeah, you were probably higher tier playing, and those are probably people who experience the hacking, probably on the lower end of like the gaming totem pole, basically. So
Maybe.
that is really interesting that you bring that up. That is a big brain move from I don't even know what's the developer for PUBG.
Blue
Is it
hole.
just
Yeah.
Bluehole?
They're
There you go.
aren't they a Chinese company? Pretty
Big
sure.
brain move from Bluehole, from old Mr. Player Unknowns
Yes.
himself.
Yeah.
Ooh, true.
Dang,
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
that is
What's
interesting.
the
Well-
next game? Wasn't it
Well, what's this?
What?
Was our next game gonna be the what's that one called? The new Russian game? What's
Escape
that
from
Russian game that's
Tarkov?
coming out?
Oh,
No,
Atomic
the
Heart?
one you put Atomic Heart. Yeah,
Oh,
Atomic
Atomic
Heart, yeah.
Heart.
The Bioware, I mean the Bioshock on acid.
Yeah.
Bioshock on acid.
Dang.
That game
Yeah, it's
looks.
It looks pretty interesting.
It's
It
kind
does
of.
look kind
Pretty
of.
interesting.
I'm a little afraid. I feel like it's. It looks indie. That's for sure.
It does.
Not AAA quality.
Well,
not the AAA you've been
No,
expecting.
like it's just so different and weird and just like I don't know what's going on in this world. Like it's very unique.
Okay, when you say that, Dana, I'm getting
Yes.
flashbacks to No Man's Sky. But no, this definitely does look. But that really okay. This was everybody.
This is in a different way,
oh my
though.
God, I've never seen anything like this. It's a dinosaur on a planet. Oh my God. No,
This is different though. This
but
is
yeah,
like story beats
it is
and like
It is. I love it. I love the
style.
aesthetic of it. It's.
Yes.
It really. Really. I will buy this game if it continues to impress like this because it looks really creepy. Or not creepy, but atmospheric. I guess kind of. Well, a little. It is pretty. I don't know. Creepy is not the right word. It's like.
It's kind of mad.
It's more like horrifying, actually. That's probably a better word for it. But I
Yeah.
love that kind of aesthetic of like the, kind of reminds me. It's like I don't know. There's like maybe it's a genre of like
I would say
of
the
just weird
Bio.
weird horror, I guess. Because like We Happy Few probably is kind of
Yeah.
the closest. It kind
I
of
would say
reminds me
the
a little
System
bit of that.
Shock.
Obviously, completely different, but like just the
System
aesthetic of just
Shock.
kind of how weird it is.
System Shock, Bioshock.
System Shock. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, some of the aesthetic is kind of cool. Definitely. When do you know if they have a release date or if there's any game? Oh, I guess this is gameplay.
I'm pretty sure it was this year. I want to say it was March, but maybe that's a different game I'm thinking of. Let me fact check as
March
we're
of
fact
this year is
checking.
the release date.
I'll check right now.
Release date. I'm not sure if there was one. Maybe it was one that's like summer 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think
Where
so.
they don't
maybe
really
not.
say anything. Or maybe like fall of 2019.
There's an option
They
to
just say
pre-order, but that's it.
before.
I think.
Yeah. I love games where you're just in the forest with creepy things. Man, I just want a genre of like weird. I just want good horror games where it's like atmospheric. Oh,
Minecraft.
RE2. RE2.
oh yeah.
Resident
that
Evil 2.
Is it good? I know. I wish I probably can't run that game right now. But yeah, that looks good too. I want to play
I
Resident
bought it.
Evil.
And I haven't even been able to play it yet.
Damn, we'll have to talk about that next time on Lobby Talk. Constantly talk about your
Yeah,
experiences
RE2.
on Resident Evil.
RE2.
Oh, speaking, I guess we're going about upcoming games that we're interested in. I'm interested in Outer Worlds because it is done by
Another
the good
post-apoc-
folks over at Obsidian. I mean, it's basically, it's like, so Obsidian, right? The boys who made Fallout New Vegas, the best Bethesda game ever made. Bethesda's best game. I mean, everyone loves New Vegas. And this just looks like really good. I mean, Bethesda must be crying because
Oh yeah.
if this comes out and does really good, it's like I won't need to buy the next Bethesda game because like probably if it's as good as New Vegas,
Yeah,
and
my
obviously
brain-
it looks like it.
Yeah.
The trailer looks interesting. It has I love the comedy already. It just has a nice aesthetic.
Oh,
I
yes.
love the I love the space
Or
kind of space. What is it? I don't know. It's 50s kind of. It's very like 50s in space basically. That's
Yep.
the vibe I get. I love all the corporations, like the weird moon guy. Like I love all the old timey brands that are in space.
Yeah.
I love the plot of this already looks great. It looks goofy. It's like, oh, the frontier was bought out by corporate America, basically, and it looks good. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Obviously, no gameplay, so you can't get too hyped. But the trailer looks interesting, and
Well, I
I
feel
want
like
to talk
there
about it.
was some
It came out a while
there was a
ago.
little
It's kind
bit
of
more.
old news, but
I think there's like some 5 minute.
Yeah.
is there some? Yeah, there might be some gameplay mixed with footage
And-
or whatever. And
Yeah, it's actually like really Fallout. Like even there's like the dynamic camera where you like your companions like slow mo shoot someone.
Oh. Yeah.
see, it's just cool. Like it's just, and again, it's probably just like Bethesda probably will never want to give them the Fallout license again. I mean, it'd be great if Bethesda would just give their IPs to Obsidian and then they could just or at least the Fallout IP. But
Because right
you
now
know,
they're not.
especially with the misstep, with it's pretty popular nowadays to hate on Bethesda because of Fallout 76, which I don't
Yeah.
want to do. But the fact that the new Elder Scrolls game is going to be in the same engine as Skyrim, it's kind of like, well, all right, all the
Yeah.
goodwill I had towards you, Bethesda, is kind of gone at this point. Especially,
creation
I
engine?
really am kind of still looking forward to the new Elder Scrolls game, just because that's a world I really like. But
Mhm.
it's in the same
I
engine
only-
as Elder Scrolls, so that's like, wow, okay, literally no effort. And I'm sure I heard rumors that I think you told me, Dan, that they're basically rushing the new Elder Scrolls game because Fallout
Same
76
engine as Morrowind.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
So it's like, hooray, we're gonna get
Same engine as
another
Morrowind.
half finished. Same
Yep.
engine as Morrowind. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Same
know.
engine
It's
as
like,
Morrowind, by
They've
the
just
way.
been modifying
wow.
it. That's all they've been
They've
doing.
just
is
been, and
modifying.
you can't really. It's just like the Fallout 4 when it came out. I was like, wow, the modded versions of Skyrim with all the graphical enhancements look better than this. Like,
Yes.
Yep.
this is garbage.
That's
Yeah.
how it is again. It's like Fallout 4. I modded my Fallout 4 so it looks absolutely beautiful, but it took a
Yeah, me
lot
too.
of mods.
Yeah, exactly. You have to like the only time I ever play Skyrim, I realized I'm like, do I even like Skyrim or do I like the mods that I install in Skyrim? It's like I guess I
Yep.
don't even like Skyrim
Yeah.
because I would never play Skyrim vanilla ever. There would be no way,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the first time you played it, yeah, you'd play it vanilla because that's all you got,
Exactly.
and it was also an amazing experience to play it vanilla first time,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like
I mean,
any other
it-
game.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
But once
When
I
it
play
came
over
out, it was
time-
great and I loved it. But as time went on, the only reason I kept playing it was because of mods. And then you go back to vanilla and you're like, oh my god, they don't even like remember like Sky UI is such a strong part of me playing Skyrim. Like I don't even remember what the original Skyrim UI looks like because it's so bad. I never play Skyrim with their original UI because it's garbage.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
true.
agree. And if Obsidian knocks it out of the park, which I mean, they might not. You know, obviously we have no gameplay, so don't want to build up the hype train. But if they knock it out of the park, then Bethesda better be they'd be shaking in their boots because
Yeah, I only have hope right now for it and Doom Eternal because
Yeah.
that's like
yeah.
only good thing.
I mean, the
that's
Doom
coming up.
games, they're good. Wolfenstein, they're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
You
pretty good.
But is
That's
Bethesda are they just the publisher on those
They're
games?
just publishers.
Yeah, they're
It is the
Yeah, so
developer.
it's not even them. It's just them. It's not all the games where Bethesda makes them. They're kind of bad. Like all the games that you like from Bethesda are games that Bethesda just publishes. So like I like Quake, Doom, and Wolfenstein. Oh wait,
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're like publishers, and since like Fallout 76 is doing so bad, that makes me afraid that some of the budget is gonna be taken out of like other games, like Doom.
Yeah.
So, or be rushed or changed
Yep.
to like be safe, especially with a game like Doom, which is already had some controversies, but stupid ones.
Yeah.
But I don't
stupid
know.
controversy. Bogged them down.
Just as Ryan said, Doom is definitely one of the best shooters I've ever played. The 2017 one, since I'm not an epic retro gamer. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played any of the original Dooms. I've played like I've played Star Wars Dark Forces, which is a Doom clone. So that's probably the only one I played as close. And that's not those games actually give me a horrible headache because I
Really?
hate how I can't stand those games. Like I can't play it. So I got a headache when I try to play Dark Forces. But New
I
Doom
love the Doom
looks
games.
like
Yeah, the original Dooms
pulse
are
pounding
great.
action.
The one thing about Doom is it's incredible because it looks amazing and it runs amazing
Yes,
Yeah.
it
and it
does.
plays
Yeah.
well.
And
Which
it's
is
like
like-
$20 right now with all the DLC. So it's
Yeah, I actually kind of want to kind of buy Doom because like those look like a lot of fun, and the music is probably I've listened
It's
to the Doom
absolutely
soundtrack just because it's great. Like that's like
EFG
that's
Division.
such
Oh,
pulse pounding good music, good aesthetic. How many hours do you have in Doom, Hunter?
I got. Let me scroll up. And right there. I only have 23 hours.
Damn. But
We
did you
only-
finish the main? Did you finish the main story or no?
I played the story a little bit, and then I just mainly played multiplayer because I was shooting out with everyone.
That was the most fun
That'd
for
be
you, was
fun.
multiplayer? But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
for
if
me
it's
it was
still fun,
multiplayer.
I mean, 23 hours, that's a
I
good
must
amount of
have
time
like
to sink into any game.
roughly 60 hours on all three Xbox, PC, and the Switch, which is also
Doom is
still
on
fun.
Switch.
It's also fun
Hey,
on Switch.
that's probably the ideal way to play it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not, though. Probably mouse and keyboard. It is a shooter.
Yeah, Doom.
I think playing...
Doom on Switch isn't graphically amazing, but it's still fun. It's like
Does it run at 60?
No, it's only 30. But
Oh, okay.
Yikes. Never mind. No,
Yeah,
I
it's the
can't believe I
lowest.
said ideal.
Well, it runs
But-
the
Not ideal.
id Tech engine. You'd think they'd like take some of that knowledge they have from that engine and put it into Elder Scrolls or Fallout.
Put it
or-
into the creation, or just make a new engine.
Yeah, just make a new engine and have the id
With,
guys
id
help you.
stuff. Yeah, have
Yeah, the Switch is... This, Dwarf did say Switch is pretty good for indie games, like Stardew Valley. Big success on the Switch because it's perfect to play. But yeah,
Doom
again, that's
is
where
probably an indie
that's where Nintendo could win if they had like a. I mean, they have a pretty sizable indie games library, or do they like? Don't they have like an eShop for indie games?
Nintendo or
Yeah.
Switch?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
Indian games. All Indian games.
Yeah, it's a little too much. Too many.
Oh, really?
much
It's just
indie
like
games.
all of them. It's like why you go on there. It's like, oh, I guess let's just here all these indie games you can have. Here, have every one of them. That's interesting.
It's almost like Steam for their games.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is,
Exactly.
Are they in
Like-
early? Okay, but are they in early access when they're on the Switch?
Technically, they're not allowed to release on the Switch if they're in early
Thank
access.
God.
But
Thank
Fortnite
God. You know
did
what?
it,
Early access
so
games
I
should be
don't know.
banned.
Yeah, Fortnite did it.
Fortnite did it, so I don't know.
Fortnite. Wow.
So there's
but they're
precedent.
basically. I can't even believe they're still technically in early access. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Technically.
Horribly.
It's a
Portability
perfect
is
indie game
definitely
machine.
the Switch.
I'm way more inclined to play indie games portably than sit down at my huge PC.
It's
Hey,
true
true.
because it feels like, oh, I'll just play an hour of this indie game while I'm, I don't know, doing something on the, I don't know, trying to think of something you
Well, there's
do.
certain-
I guess
yeah,
sitting up
I think-
upstairs instead of downstairs.
There are certain games that are good for that. Like Doom, I think, is a great game for that because they have an arcade mode where it's literally just play one level, get the highest score you can, and then be done. So you just sit
That is
down,
cool. So
play
you
a
just
level,
kinda-
and then set it down.
Yeah, that's
like-
cool. I like the Arc early access.
Oh, Ark on Switch.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Arc is
Arc
on
was on
Switch.
Switch.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. You know what, Blake? Ever since I didn't care. We already talked about how much we all hate.
We were talking enough about Nintendo.
And
Yeah.
Arc. Or
It's
And
over
Arc.
for Arc.
Who is it?
I just
Who
don't even
developed
care if
Arc
that
again?
game never sells another copy again. You want to talk about how EA is ruining Star Wars?
Fuck it.
how they have been
They
for like
are.
8 years now. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I watched an interesting
8
video.
out of 10.
What's his name? Jim Sterling did an interesting video a couple weeks ago, basically about just pointing out the fact that EA has basically done nothing with the Star Wars IP ever since Disney sold it to them. I don't know how long their contract is, but
It's
like,
a 10-year
I
contract.
think, 10 years.
oh,
And
And
hopefully
they
it
only
doesn't get
done
renewed.
2 Battlefield games and a mobile game.
God.
And I know, can you believe that, guys? Okay,
And they've
there was a
canceled like
beautiful
2
image.
games already. Oh my.
There's
Yeah.
this beautiful
What?
image. Yeah. So, well, Visceral. Okay, here's the part. This
Oh, poor
spoils my
Visceral.
blood, right? Okay.
And destroy
Visceral
Visceral.
was making a single-player Star Wars game, which is like, oh my god, this is what we want. This is what I want. I want just a single-player linear.
Wasn't Amy
no
Hennig
open
the
world.
lead of that too?
Yeah, the lead of
Yeah.
Uncharted.
Oh my
4
God.
Uncharted.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So it was going to be an amazing game, most likely, right? It was going to be a
Yes.
single-player, linear Star Wars experience. Oh wow, this is what I want. In the new gen, it's going to be awesome. Tell a new story. I gonna have a lightsaber, probably. Wow, this is cool.
And it's gone.
And then EA is like, let's switch this to an open-world live service.
Yeah.
Actually, psych, you guys are shut down. We're taking everything. We're scrapping this project.
Now-
Let's redo it. Okay, now we're gonna scrap that project that we just
Yeah.
redid. Let's just cancel it. It's like,
They
oh
shut
my
down
God.
Visceral, gave it to EA Canada or whatever, and then just canceled the
Yeah,
project.
and then
later on.
canceled
like,
it.
what?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's crazy.
It's
So, and it's like they've
Yikes
released
for me.
two Star Wars console games, and they're both from the Battlefront series. And first of all, Battlefront, like, they're not even the good Battlefront games. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to play a good Battlefront game, play Battlefront 1 and 2, the original.
Yeah,
Like, those
the
are
new
fun
Battlefront
games
2
for
was a
Pandemic.
complete mess. Absolute
Oh,
just
yeah.
atrocity
Like,
of a game. When
Garbage
it
campaign. They
Jesus.
finally gave you a campaign, but it's garbage. Like, campaign's not fun. In fact, I have Battlefront 2, the new one, because they were giving away for free on Origin like a couple months ago. I downloaded it. I'm like, I'll play this. Never played it. Still haven't. Probably never will, because
Tied
I just like
progression of loot
realized,
boxes.
don't even
was
care.
terrible.
Yeah, the loot boxes, most downvoted
Loot
comment in
boxes.
Reddit history. Like, my hope is that, like, I can't believe they shut down Visceral Games. It's like, that's awesome. It's what EA does, though. They'll
Yep.
take a studio, they'll give them something that the studio is not good with working with. It'll be a failure, and then EA will be like, this is a reason to shut you down, absorbs them into EA. And you're like, well, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
it's terrible. Like, there's like probably a list of all the companies that EA shut down.
There
I mean, they
is.
shut
There's
down
like a
Pandemic, right? We made
Pandemic.
the
Yeah.
original Battlefront games. Yeah,
Yep.
so it's like,
Not-
cool.
A lot of Star Wars games, actually.
Also, Pandemic also made that really good Lord of the Rings game that was basically just a reskin of Battlefront
Yeah.
2. But it was
Conquest?
still really good. Holy crap. That game never comes to PC. It's probably never going to get ported ever anywhere. That game was so much fun. Holy crap.
was
I
really
like that
good.
more than Battlefront 2, actually.
Whoa, damn.
But yeah, how EA is kind of like no single player like Star Wars game. It's like
Don't see
awesome.
player at all for any of their games.
There was pretty sure this is what hurts me the most. There was a Darth Maul game that was going to come out, and it was going to have Boba Fett as the main character.
Oh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that got scrapped.
13 or something?
Mhm.
Yes.
And that got straight
Which
up
I was
scrapped.
very hyped for.
It looked
especially
amazing.
with that game. It looked
like-
so
but-
good.
It's like, it doesn't make any sense. They just, live services, those are the things we're going to shoot
Yep.
for now. So, okay, let's just shut you down. Try and make an open world game. Realize that, we can't because we don't have enough time, and our contract is like, I think they're probably a year out. When did
I think it's
No,
they
they're
got like
not.
2 or 3 years still.
when did
so.
LucasArts sell Disney? But like we've had 2
4
Star
years,
Wars
maybe.
games. Like, man, I hope Disney does not renew that contract with EA.
I don't think they
give
will
it
because
to-
EA has done nothing
Yeah,
but
Disney,
lose money
Disney,
with this
yeah,
contract.
Disney's not happy with them.
Yeah.
So.
I know, it's like they literally, it's like as a publisher as greedy as EA, you'd think they would have pulled like a Games Workshop and then just started giving literally everyone a Star Wars, like being able, like
Yeah,
all the
that'd be
people they
amazing.
are under, just, hey, you make a Star Wars game, you make a Star Wars game, like Games Workshop just license out their IP, so
they
everyone
do.
makes the Warhammer game, and there's like 40 shitty Warhammer games, but for every 40 shitty ones you get a really good one.
Like
And it's like
Vermintide.
they did the same thing with
Like
Star Wars.
Vermintide.
You'd be like, perfect. It's like, oh yeah, we have 100 crappy Star Wars games, but here's like 1 or 2 really good ones. But no, we just have 2 mediocre, kind of bad Star Wars games, and that's probably all we're gonna get for a while. And at this point, it's like I'm like, I don't even care. It's like, I'm kind of over Star Wars for a little while, unless like, especially because I'm not gonna play a multiplayer live service open world Star Wars game. The only Star Wars game I'd want to play would be a single player experience. Yeah, they literally have the people who made Knights of the Old Republic. They have, like, BioWare could make Star Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna
games.
say,
Like,
why wouldn't you give it to BioWare? That is like
I
the
don't
most
understand.
obvious decision to make. Like,
I don't know, man.
I know.
you have the original
I know.
developers right there.
I know. They could make an amazing, like, RPG. Oh, God. Could you imagine, like, kind of like a modernized version of Knights of the Old Republic? Oh, my God. That'd be
That'd be-
amazing.
It would probably make more money than Dragon Age would, I bet.
While
Easily,
I'm dreaming,
We're
we're gonna end world hunger because that's probably just as much possibility of that happening as well.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I
so
don't-
that's the exact
EA
opposite of what EA wants. They want multiplayer, games of a service, something they can make money off of. And KOTOR, they
And
won't.
that's where I am wary with like a subscription service. As much as cool as that is,
So I don't
obviously,
obviously,
they're gonna. I wonder if that's gonna be a good thing because maybe they'll just say, yeah, you will make a bunch of different games because no matter what, we just want you on the platform for as long as possible.
Yeah.
But my worry is all they're gonna do is say, well, we're gonna do the ones that'll hold you here the longest. So we're gonna give you an
Yeah.
eternal grind fest. And those are games from forever. Like, we're just going to pull Ubisoft and
Yeah.
we're just going to have open world tower climbing games forever because that's, so I'm worried about that. But yeah, it boggles my mind, these publishers who have IPs like Star Wars and will be like, let's just sit on this. And it's insane. It's crazy. Yeah,
I
they have
wonder
this
if
stupid Star Wars Heroes game. And then
is making money or not.
it's just, it probably is because it's a mobile game.
Yeah, that's true.
I played a little bit of it. It's
I
like,
did too. I hated
it's
it.
like a hero. Yeah, I hated it too. It was boring. I was
It
like,
looks
yeah,
terrible.
this is just mobile games to me are just I just can't stand them for the most part. I just
Yeah.
like no. But it's like,
Mobile
yeah,
games.
good job, EA. You know, you had a great property that people were excited for, but the hype. I mean, Disney has also kind of butchered the Star Wars franchise a little bit, and they've pulled back. So the hype for Star Wars is already gone. So EA's missed all that money and all that hype,
Yeah.
all that hoopla.
Yeah.
So
And the thing
Star Wars has
about
gone
Disney
down. So we're not
is
going to
that
get a good
they
Star Wars game
don't
for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney just doesn't care about their games at all
Yeah.
right now.
No.
Nope.
Why would they?
Especially
Their
Star Wars.
franchise, their movie franchise is in a death spiral too because they're not doing as well. Like they spent how many like a couple $1 billion. George Lucas is laughing all the way to the bank. Holy crap! Like he
Yeah.
got out right when it was time because
Yeah, Star Wars is just.
and they basically bought an IP they can do nothing with unless they want to anger a bunch of neckbeards. So
They
I don't
already
know.
have.
Yeah.
The first thing they did was
I know.
shut down LucasArts. So like,
I know,
Lucas,
it's
what is
like-
it? Yeah, LucasArts,
I don't.
the game
Yeah,
development
isn't
company.
LucasArts.
Okay.
Industrial Light and Magic. I know it's like what
Yeah.
and ugh. Anyway, but yeah, good job, EA. You've ruined Star Wars. I'm surprised. You've fucked up Star Wars.
Just
Like
don't
God.
give your IP
Disgusting.
to EA. Don't do it. Anthem,
I know.
please
Like
be
why?
good.
You know what I prefer? In fact, I wish every person with an IP would do this. Just pull a Games Workshop and just license it to literally everybody. Because at least you might get some games out of it instead of like
Rip
nothing.
LucasArts.
But yeah, LucasArts.
Maybe
Rest in
Marvel
peace.
will
And
do
you
that.
should see all the games that were released from LucasArts
Not
from like
Marvel.
2006. Yeah, Marvel probably. How many games have they licensed? Like
Mobile games, by the way.
So many mobile games.
it's just all mobile games, isn't it?
There's one
Yeah.
game that is only just announced that they gave to Square. So we'll see what game they make.
It just
Iron
doesn't make
Man.
any sense because the Marvel movies especially are making money hand over fist. Like they basically Marvel movies have actually changed movies. They've like movies aren't the same because of Marvel. Like
They're
movies are all cinematic universe experiences now. Could you imagine
Yeah.
like they could make probably $1 billion if they sold like a couple good games or made a couple good games, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Good job, people who don't know how to use their IPs. I guess gaming isn't seen as I don't know.
Not
As-
profitable.
I don't know.
Maybe they
Feels
shouldn't see the
bad.
profit in it because a lot of people are buying these premiere passes and they're like, well, sorry
Yeah,
guys.
maybe I know that's what I was wondering. Is maybe Premiere is the problem. They saw Visceral Games like, fuck, this is a single player linear experience that someone must play and then pay $15 for our service, play that game, finish it in a month, and then unsubscribe. They're like, well,
Yeah.
we gotta shut this shit down. So I'm wondering if like
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about. Is like as much as I enjoy this service, they could go one way where they basically do what
corrupting it.
Netflix does. Yeah, exactly. They could do what Netflix does with movies, where they just release a bunch of different stuff. But again, that's movies, and games are a lot different. And if they can just
Yeah.
keep you there, if they can keep you invested, like basically, it's like a World of Warcraft subscription at that point, where it's like, just you pay your $15 every month to play your multiplayer experience, your multiplayer grind experience. It is corrupting. It's kind of it's as hyped as I am. I really like the system. I think it's good. It could be really good, but I wonder if maybe that's why they shut down all these single player games. So
Gonna be the downfall.
I mean, there's still
be the
Respawn's
downfall.
Star Wars game that we know nothing
Oh,
about.
no,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that got canceled too.
No, it's still in development.
Oh, is it? But didn't they change it? They had to change it, right?
They changed. I know they changed something about it, but it's still in
They
development.
changed it to be a multiplayer. I'm pretty sure they changed it to be like a more multiplayer focused
Yeah, I know it's
experience.
multiplayer. Yeah.
But
It's
they
about
were
the
like they
Dark
changed it
Ones,
even
isn't
more
it?
to be more of a live service. So they're like, ugh, yikes.
We know nothing about that game, so basically
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's unfortunate.
We know it takes
Yeah,
place
really
between the
unfortunate.
time when all the Jedi were being killed, so
Oh wow,
that could
might
be interesting.
That's epic.
And we saw
Oh
some
my
footage
God,
of
talking about
guys
Star Wars
smacking
lost more
lightsabers
viewers.
against each other. So
Yeah, that might be fun. I mean,
Oh,
like,
wow.
like again, but I wonder how much. Again, Star Wars might just be a boring franchise that you can't do anything with. Because like, oh, how many times is it gonna be fun to play a game with a lightsaber? It
yeah,
doesn't even matter. Like, at some point, maybe it's like. I mean, I'm kind of Star Wars out to be honest. Like, I'm ready for some. I mean, what I really want is a good Warhammer game, but that'll probably never happen either. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
CD
after
Projekt
the-
Red is.
Oh, could you imagine if CD Projekt Red did a Star Wars game? Oh my
well,
god.
speaking of that, the lead writer for Cyberpunk,
Oh, yeah.
I guess they're done writing for Cyberpunk because the lead writer left and he went to Blizzard, I think.
Yikes.
Oh.
So maybe Blizzard. You guys, when the new World of Warcraft expansion comes out and is good, we know who to thank.
Yes. What were you gonna
I know.
say,
I saw
Alex?
that a couple days ago, or
nothing.
today maybe.
What are you
Yeah.
gonna say?
Yeah, he left. He changed his LinkedIn to be like, oh yeah, I work for Blizzard now. Like, huh? And he was the creative director for The Witcher, and which is weird. Why would he leave CD Projekt Red for Blizzard?
I guess because he was the writer. I mean, writers leave companies all the time. They move around to write for different
Yeah,
companies. So it could just be indicative that they're done writing for Cyberpunk, and they said, "All right, we no longer need you." So
He's going to be writing voice
He
lines
left
for
somewhere else.
Overwatch.
no wasted potential.
No. He's like, all right, your first job is to design some lore around why we can sell this skin to people. He's like, fuck.
That's what they do. God, that's
I
what
know,
the best
I
that
know.
skin was, man.
Yay, it's awesome.
Write
That's
some
what-
lore
that's
so
how
we can
games are
sell
made.
skin.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be epic.
Oh, well,
Okay, I don't care. Get people talking. Oh.
oh
Yeah.
my. Well, guys, want to wrap up with a little bit of talk about games we've played this week, or what? I know that's kind of, or no.
That's just more
You guys
Anthem,
play
I think,
anything?
really, right?
Watch anything interesting?
I mean, I think
Do
I could say a
anything
couple more
interesting?
things.
Yeah.
I finished Destiny.
I was saying if we need to fill some airtime, but just talk about something. If you play anything new or watch anything new, whatever.
What
Yeah,
about
what
Destiny,
more
dude,
things?
Alex?
I can't speak. I finished Punisher Season 2. Here you go.
Oh, you did?
I forgot about that.
Punisher season 2, eh?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how good was that? Oh, imagine a
Yes.
Punisher video game. That would probably be.
Which, yeah, it's great. But it's not as,
Yeah.
well, it's not as good as the first season, especially towards the end, because the rushing and all the counseling, the Daredevil, and other shows.
Yeah, that is because we're getting ready for Disney's new live service that they're going to release soon, right? So
Fucking live services, guys. Subscriptions are the way of the future. So
They are
basically,
really,
you'll get your
honestly,
paycheck,
like-
and then
Yeah, they
everything
are.
you're subscribed to is going to take all that money out of your paycheck, and you'll be like, oh, I
Yeah.
have no money now because I'm subscribed to
It already
90 different
does, dude.
services.
And
I know,
from liking it to fuck it.
Well, no, I do like it, but like,
Do like it.
I'm worried because all this means is like, it's going to be the same thing with TV, right? Now it's just going to be like, how long can we keep these people subscribed? Oh, this show is doing really well. We're going to run it until people hate it. So we're going to run. That's why The Walking Dead is still around, even though it's not good anymore. Like, The Walking Dead hasn't
Yeah.
been good for like quite a few seasons, but still around because it's like people like the show and it makes money. So we're going to not have a satisfying conclusion to that. You know, it's the same thing. Live services could be great, or like we could have really great subscription-based services, or it can just go really crappy, and it's just going to be how can we keep people subscribed at all costs? And the people, and the thing with that is then the mass market controls things even more. So what the main majority of people want, it's like 80% of players like open world games. Well, that 20% of people who don't, you know, usually there'd be a niche for them where we'd sell them a game and they'd buy it, right? But who cares? They're not going to subscribe to our live service anyway because we only have open world games in that thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's worse for people with a little bit more niche tastes. Like, you know, it's interesting. So indie developers are gonna have to probably. I mean, obviously, there's been more of a divide between AAA and how that's kind of a meaningless term at this point because there are plenty of indie developers who make great games. You know, probably not as graphically with not as much graphic fidelity, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
you
they
know,
call it
they
double
make
A.
really good, solid experiences that are amazing and interesting. And then these live services are just kind of the norm, where
Well-
like Ubisoft is a prime example of just
Yeah, with live
Same old
services,
stuff.
it's just dependent on how you like to spend your money. Because would you rather
Yeah.
spend $60 every 4 months or $15 every month? Like, how do you?
Yeah, exactly.
How would
It's
you
just-
rather do it?
And I wonder if more people, since I guess majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, I wonder if the subscription service is going to work for more people. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's just a cynical. They look at that and they go, oh wow, people people live paycheck to paycheck. We're gonna have them subscribe to our service, whatever.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $60 or $120 every 4 months for a new game. So yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Almost
no.
lost the webcam, boys. No, but yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean,
Uh,
those paid services kind of hit. I noticed they hit me pretty hard because I have a subscription to like Spotify and a subscription to car wash service that I haven't used in 2 months.
Oh,
And
jeez.
that's how they do
Yeah.
it. Is maybe I'm just gonna. And I just realized I've checked my bank statement. And I've been subscribed to Hulu for like 3 months, and I haven't watched anything. I was watching King of the Hill on there, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I even subscribed to this. And it's been taking
Yeah.
like $10 out of my paycheck every month, and I'm like, huh. I wonder how many other things where maybe I'll just forget about my EA Access by accident and be like, oops.
That's what
I
they hope.
actually
That's their goal. They hope you
I
do.
Yeah.
subscribed for a year for Ocean Access, and then I forgot about it.
Dang.
That happened.
Yeah.
So it's almost like wow, if we can just keep these people, get them subscribed at any cost, and have them
The thing
forget.
about like subscriptions, like you're paying for a lot of games that you're probably not gonna ever play. So it's
Yeah,
like
I know.
better
That's
to
also
like
what I
pay
was
for
wondering.
one game. Pay for one game that you know you're gonna play for at least a while. I think that's a little bit that can be considered like better choice over than like, oh, paying every month for these thousands of games that you probably won't have time to play compared to the one game you actually want to play.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm wondering too. Is like yeah, all these games look good in the library. Like it's full of games. It's like, how many of these am I actually gonna play? I wonder, because maybe none. Maybe I'll just be like, yeah, I'll play Mass Effect eventually. I'll download it and they'll be like, you know.
Eh.
But if they keep you around again, it all depends on how long. If they're able to keep you around long enough and then release another game, like, well, I guess I'll try this new game. I'm already subscribed. They've already taken my money for this month, so I might as well play this game. And then you forget about it for another 4 months.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting. It is almost what they're counting on, is just people to forget that they're subscribed to these services, and then I mean that's with literally everything now. You can get boxes of food sent to your door on a subscription.
Yep.
It's like,
Hmm.
holy moly! It's
That
like,
was the whole basis of Twitch Prime. There's a reason it doesn't auto-subscribe with your free Twitch Prime subscription, because they hope you just forget about it, and then that's just money
Forget.
going to Amazon thanks to your Amazon sub. So
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
scary,
wow.
but-
Yeah, it's interesting. It is
it's
interesting.
weird
Again,
how the
both
free
good,
one doesn't
both
resub, but the one you pay for does resub automatically.
does.
See,
Huh,
'cause
really
that's-
interesting. It makes
yeah.
you think.
that way you forget, and then it just
Mhm.
it's.
In
all
fact,
good for Amazon.
I've had Amazon Prime for a year, and I forgot about Twitch Prime, and I haven't even claimed any rewards or done anything on there because I haven't
Dang.
used Twitch very much.
Oh,
So that's just Amazon. That's just money for Amazon. You
Yep.
know, I pay about
Yoink.
$100 a year, or whatever. I actually don't even. I just do $100 a year annually instead of the monthly subscription for Amazon. But,
yeah. I should do that for
but
Discord.
still, still. Oh yeah, exactly. Discord Nitro. It's another thing. It's just here's $5 a month. You pay for our service.
It's everywhere.
Discord Nitro heavily.
Yeah, I would too. I feel if I could.
I know. It's like
Get it.
what else can?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends because Discord also seems like they want to start selling games on Discord.
They are selling
Discord,
games.
which
They
is-
do.
Yeah, they are.
If you get Warframe on there, you get a lot of shit.
Really?
See, again, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And all these
Okay, I think
live.
it's if you're subscribed to the Nitro thing, because I got the premium Nitro for free until 2020, January 2020,
Yeah.
and that allowed me to get the like free 400 plat and skins and everything for Warframe as long as I downloaded it on Discord.
That's nice.
400 plat's a lot of money, actually.
In
For free?
Warframe.
Well, I feel like it is. You can do a lot with 400 plat. I feel you can get a couple primes. Prime.
Can you really? Wow.
Yeah, prime. What is it called? They have Warframe stuff.
Dang, dude.
It's pretty
Those
nice.
the suits or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty
Damn.
damn epic. Pretty
Yeah.
damn epic.
Well. Yeah, no, it's interesting. So live service is both good and bad with those subscription kind of based models, and then how it changes industries. Obviously, we've seen it in we're seeing it in TV. We've seen it in how it's basically changed the music industry completely, like where it's not as much of a mafioso, you know, like I don't know, but it's changed the music industry a little bit, changed streaming. And it'll probably change games, and it depends on if it changes it for the good or for the worse. But basically, you can subscribe to anything now. It's like Movie Pass, like the thing where you pay $10 a month and get 4 free movie tickets or whatever. Or you
Yeah.
can see as many movies as you want in a month. And it's like,
Yep.
they're literally, his business model is like, I'm counting on people to literally forget about it. Like, that's their
Yep.
business model. And it hasn't really worked out really well for them, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird that that's the business model of like basically stealing from people but
Yeah.
by another
Yeah.
name.
Mhm.
It's like, well, I guess they got the money. It's like one of those credit card scams where it's like just input your information. We'll charge you every month for these magazines you won't ever get. I don't know. It's interesting. Very
I think
interesting.
yeah, it's pretty. It's one of those things. It's just kind of how the mafia works, I guess.
Just how the mafia works, yeah.
Some mafia works.
It's basically
I mean, there can
how
be
sum it
definitely-
up.
Just sum it up. That's basically just life. That's just how mafia works, boys.
Are we the mafia?
Are we the bad guys? Are we the baddies?
Yes, we are.
What's that from?
Well, that's the thing is, any move that a company makes, and you think, oh, this is great. The inner cynic is just like, well, that's probably for money.
Exactly.
That's
It's like
the main-
it's great. Oh, it's great until it's not, and someone's going to abuse it because companies, you know, they like more than helping the consumer. Money.
Oh, yeah.
They enjoy money. So what they're gonna do is go for, is it consumer happiness or money? It's gonna be money. So
Money
Yeah.
time. Crust Crab
Money
2,
time.
right next to the original. Money.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, there was some announcements, some pretty big announcements for Dragon Ball fans just
Oh my
today.
god.
I guess there was.
Who here's a Dragon Ball fan? Show of hands. Come on, no, just
I think it's just me, probably.
probably just you, Dan. No, go over it. It's good. I want to hear it.
But it's so one. There was a new Dragon Ball game announced called. Well, I think it's just a work in progress title. Project Z. It's an action RPG, and I was wanting to know your guys' opinion on the use of that term, because I feel like action
RPG.
RPG is just kind of thrown around. Pillars of
Wait
Eternity.
one second, Dan. Can I guess? Can I guess what this means in the
Yes.
context of the
Okay,
game?
yeah.
Okay. It's a fighting game with a story.
No.
Am I right?
But you know what? That might work as an action RPG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pillars of
yeah.
Eternity is an action RPG.
Right.
Diablo is an action RPG. Freaking
Mm.
all very different games, yet all
It is
considered
really
in the same
interesting.
genre. Which
This can be like a turn-based RPG.
that's
action.
what I'm. So what
but
is
isn't
it?
it
Tales of
like, if
Vesperia
you're-
could be considered an action RPG, which is like
That's such
you
a vague
encounter
title.
enemies and then you fight like real time. You're not turn based. Like action RPG, and it's with genres in general. I feel in the gaming industry we're not very it has to be this. It has to be this. Kind of like in the movie industry, it seems more sort of set in stone what a movie is.
Right.
Where
I'm sorry,
anything
I'm dying over here,
nowadays,
Dan.
it's fine. Anything nowadays is just called an RPG if it has skills.
okay.
I mean, Ryan said that Dark Souls isn't considered an action RPG.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Destiny 2
That
is
is
considered
so
a-
weird. It's like the term roguelike. Roguelike kind of almost sometimes just thrown
It's
around. It's like
Yeah.
just because you die and you can restart, I guess that means it's roguelike. Okay.
It's
Interesting.
more used to marketing than for actual categorization, which freaking
Well, also the fact that because if you go on Steam, if enough people add a tag to a game, it'll take
Yeah.
that tag, right? So
Yeah.
enough people go, oh, this is a film noir. I don't know, whatever thing. It'll just categorize it that way. And the way that games are kind of definitely, like you said, a lot more fluid than movies. Like you can't just say, for the most part. I mean, you got your shooters. But then you also, within the genre of shooters, you have your Overwatch versus your Call of Duty. Those are two completely different
Yeah,
experiences.
hero
So it's
shooter.
exactly, hero shooter. But it is interesting. So
Then you have Borderlands, which is completely different from Call of Duty, or Destiny, which is completely different from Borderlands, or it's just this weird. And then they have multiple genres, so then you don't even know if both those genres you can count on. Maybe it's a action RPG with roguelike elements or something. I don't know. It's just
You can use
what are
many
we?
things.
Yeah, it's this
It's
doesn't
one of
help.
those things.
It doesn't help anything. It's just
Yeah, it's not. Wasn't it supposed to be categorized into one thing and be like, okay, all these games are similar, whereas now we have oh, so you were playing MMO? Here's World Tanks. It's not an MMO. That's what are we doing, dude? And now we also have Dark Souls mixed with Monster Hunter. Ryan said that Monster Hunter is also considered an action
Yes,
RPG
it is.
apparently as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you compare both games and you're like, well, actually, actually Dark Souls and Monster Hunter kind of play somewhat similarly,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But then you have an action RPG, like a turn-based action RPG, and you're like, wait, this isn't like Dark Souls. What the? I didn't
And
sign
then
up for this.
It causes problems when you're determining, like, for example, the Game Awards. They had an RPG category, and you had Monster Hunter World going up against what was it called, the Switch RPG game. Like, how are you supposed
Oh
to?
yeah. Oh.
Octopath?
How did, yeah, Octopath
yeah, I
Traveler. Like, how are those even supposed to compete for a Game of the Year
I know.
award? Like, or
Again, that's
Even
That's why the
RPG is
point-
like a general
yeah,
sort of category. Just all these
yeah.
things.
It is weird, especially with the awards and how they categorize things. Where it's like, what is? I mean, some of them aren't even like easily defined. Anyway, like it's like, what is a game like? I don't know, Stanley Parable. What? Like, what? Like, is that even? That's just like a
That's true.
what surreal weird game? Or
yeah,
But like you get games like that going up again. Also, but like with shooters, it's also hard to judge Overwatch versus Call of Duty. Those are two versus PUBG. Is PUBG a shooter or is it a battle royale game? Because there's also battle royale mode in Call of Duty, which
Yeah.
is a shooter. So it's like, how? Yeah, again,
I guess
categorization.
they're all
is-
shooters.
Exactly, but like, how do you
But
judge?
then-
Like, if I said, what's your favorite shooter, PUBG or Overwatch? It's like, well, I can't really pick because they're two completely different games. Like, I'm not going to
I
be able
think
to.
that's where multi things come in. So you have shooter and point. I don't know how you describe Overwatch in a sense of
Yeah,
terms.
hero shooter or
hero
whatever. I guess.
shooter, like
Or-
take and
Hero
hold,
shooter.
or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
objective based.
yeah, objective based.
Because like what's Team Fortress 2 is like probably the
TF2
most
cool.
similar game.
Yeah,
Better game, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
TF2 like.
TF2 has ever. How many times have characters been nerfed and buffed in that game? Oh yeah, that's right, 0 because they all work beautifully together.
hey,
Lol.
or there's just so many things you
Wow.
can customize them with. They just don't want to
Yeah.
mess with.
Oh,
them.
thank God for my golden Australian that's worth $9,000. Oh, I got scammed. No, he didn't send me the PayPal money. Actually, no. But I remember those videos. But no,
John said
it is
that.
weird. It is really weird to have when you have like, I don't know, weird in different genres. Like, I had really good. Oh yeah, so like, but then I think what Hunter was saying, where we come up with different terms for. Where's my mic? Anyway, different terms for games. So like Borderlands, it's a looter shooter, right?
Mhm.
So it's the primary focus is to shoot the enemies and then loot the bodies and get better loot. It's like, okay, that makes sense. That's interesting. Or I guess we come up with even more defining terms, but it still gets confusing because it's hard. It's also just the Game Awards to me seem a little more silly because it's hard to compare a game like, I don't know, even in the same genre. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like if you did roguelike games, right? It's hard to compare the Binding of Isaac compared to a game
Dead
like.
Cells.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
True.
I don't know. It's just like
They're
different.
very different. So is like Slay the
different
Spire.
games. Yeah, I mean, you can have like games where you can kind of compare them. Dark Souls
Yeah.
as a genre. Souls, yeah, I guess people call it the Soul. As Dark Souls really even is its own genre, they call it's Souls-like. This is a
Yeah.
Souls-like game. So I guess that's
Souls-like,
that's
yeah.
what pretentious assholes say. So, no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, what would
But
be
yeah,
a
it's
different
like-
way to describe a Dark Souls like game?
Like in
I
a
mean-
couple words. That's hard to.
I mean, or with just another
Dodge
genre.
Simulator.
Dodge Simulator
Dead-
29.
Dead Simulator.
Like slow combat or
Methodical pace. I don't know.
methodically paced,
Political face.
intentional movement, or like
Intentional
It's like
bullshit.
it's kind of hard to say. You can just say Dark Souls like, and then you'd
Hard.
know that it's like that, and you'd be like, oh, so you can like
it does.
you lock onto them, you dodge left, you dodge right.
Oh my.
Zelda, baby.
It
My
But
camera.
also,
it does, but then
It'd
people
be nice.
compare it with Dark Souls when you say it's a Dark Souls like, and it's like. Wow.
but then they also
I
use
mean-
Dark Souls like as a different term as a hard game. So they'd
Yeah,
be like, it's Dark
that's
Souls like
true.
because it's hard.
Yeah.
And be like,
Mm.
well,
Yeah, because you
Uh,
say Cuphead's a Dark Souls game because it's a hard game. Guys, I can't even get past the
Wow.
first level. How do you double jump? I'm a games journalist. How do you? This game's too hard. Ban games. It's sexist.
I went to college for
probably.
this. yeah,
Why I
true.
hate these
Cuphead
appeals
sexist.
to male fantasy.
Whoa.
Got him. Got a little political there, boy. No, just kidding.
It's a female
Yikes.
Cuphead now,
Okay.
so it's
Most
okay.
likely.
It's all right.
Hey, that's
Everything
actually
Cuphead's
cool.
okay.
Do they have DLC for that?
Yes.
Or is it?
I don't know if it's
thought, 'cause
free,
I saw a
but
bunch of new Cuphead memes.
Oh God, with her.
Yeah. I thought
There's a lot
bunch of-
more than.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more than just memes when it comes to Cuphead.
Oh
Yikes.
my.
Why does the internet ruin everything? The Undertale fan base, they're at work again.
Isabel's in
They
Smash.
ruin beautiful things.
Hey,
Oh, of course. At least it's in the title of the game, Damon.
That's true.
Smash actually makes sense, okay? Super Smash Brothers.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
anyways,
We're banned. We
genres
violated
are
Twitch
little,
TOS.
genres are weird. They're muddy, and they
Mm.
can confuse the general audience. I feel.
And they
Yeah.
can, yeah. They just do it just to get their game on the certain things.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So, is my camera crooked?
it is.
No, you're good. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Maybe it's because
Oh
I turned my
my.
head crooked.
it's
That's
crooked
probably
and
why I
off
don't
center,
notice.
but it's okay.
I don't even care. You know what?
It's all right.
Who cares?
Turn it upside
We'll
down.
fix it in post. Dan will fix it in post.
You want to know fix it? Here.
Posed.
Oh no!
Posed. Tilted.
Fuck it.
Just tilt your guys when you're watching at home. Okay, just tilt your head just a little bit. Okay,
Silly this.
but also, yeah, I know genres are interesting because like there's also like the walking simulator genre, and then there's like I don't know, just there's so many more different
Daisy
genres of games.
Daisy
Walking
officially released, by the way. Daisy.
Battle
Yikes.
Royale.
Wow.
Isn't it
beta?
worse than the
I think it
mod?
released in a beta officially. That's what it did.
Daisy.
Wow.
Yikes.
Excellent.
Okay. Daisy's a mod for Armor 3, and PUBG.
Yes.
Is PUBG a mod, or
For
was a
Arma
mode
3.
in Daisy?
It was in Arma, I think.
PUBG was,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Damn, Arma just freaking basically an engine, I guess.
Yep.
Actually,
Apparently.
yeah, because now that I think about it, Daisy or PUBG looks similar a
Yes.
little bit. Not as much anymore, but when it first released, probably, or when it was in beta or whatever.
hmm
Huh. Well, that's epic.
Yes, you are.
6 years to officially release Amigo. Yeah, and isn't it way worse than what it was when it was first out? Like it's just a bad game.
Some things they've done have just messed it up more than improved
Mm-hmm.
it. So, I don't know. They do.
It's just like you should have just left it alone. I mean, because I remember it was kind of fun. I mean, it kind of fun. I would mostly when I'd play. I don't even think I own it. I don't know how. I think I played it at a friend's house back in the day, like when it first was out, like 6 years ago, because he had Arma, and like I just go over to his house and be like, "Oh, we play it," and it just you always get sniped or some shit. That would happen. And you just like, "Wow, I hate this game." Okay, I'm gonna play. You know what's better than Daisy? Mindsy, the Minecraft mod. Now that was epic.
Do you know what's better than that? Murder Miners.
Okay. You know what?
We have to do a Murder Miners lobby talk show.
Yes.
Oh,
By
We
the
have
way.
to
well,
do
I'm
lobby
hoping we
talk.
can.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can live stream some tabletop simulator or something on different days. That'd be kind of fun,
I
like
need
a
to
warm
do
up,
that.
a pre-show or a
Yeah.
post-show.
Yeah, for sure.
So gotta expand it. A little bit of board, a little bit of tabletop, a little bit of I don't know, other stuff.
We need to do-
We're kind of done, boys.
Yeah, I
Are
think
we
we
wrapping
have
up? Slowing
our
down.
topics.
Got any more things
we-
to talk about?
Runner.
Yeah, Hunter.
Talk about any?
We have to delay
Yeah, I
while
think he
Hunter
died.
gets back.
Yeah, we can delay. We'll. It's called what's it called in comedy? There's a term for it.
What?
I forget what it's called. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just say we're
Stalling
what-
for time?
Okay. There's also there's a term in politics. What's that called? When you go onto the floor and you
Oh,
and you like talk and you keep, come
not
on
furlough.
furlough.
Not
Thanks.
furlough.
What's that called? Stalling in politics.
Frick! You go up and there was a guy who did like
Yeah,
24
yeah.
hour, a 24-hour one recently. Man, what is it?
Filibuster. There we go.
Filibuster.
We're gonna
That's-
filibuster
there it is.
this.
Filibuster.
We're gonna filibuster.
We're doing
this
it
podcast.
now. You see. Well, okay. So here, Dragon Ball
That
Fighters.
was a filibuster in itself.
Yep. Dragon Ball
There we
Fighters
go.
announced a new season that they're doing, a season 2. So the game is still alive and well, apparently, for the community.
Dang.
Um,
I'm sorry. Dragon Ball Fighters. Is that a mobile game?
no, it's a fighting game. It's like
Is it? Okay.
Fighting.
I don't know.
it
I
stole.
think I've seen clips of that.
Yeah, it stole the place of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because of how bad that game started out and how
Yeah.
much bad press it got. It just kind of Dragon Ball FighterZ just took over its spot.
Dang, dude.
And apparently it's doing well enough that they got a new second season. They already announced. They announced today 2 new characters. They're releasing on the 30th, so in like 3 days.
What are those
they're coming out.
characters?
It's Jiren and Videl. So Jiren is like the big bad of the final season. Well, big bad. He's kind of ambiguous, I guess. He's not
Is he
really.
like the dragon?
No, but he's.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
No one at the end of Dragon Ball Super were really all that bad guys, I guess. It's hard to explain. It's
It
really
was
convoluted,
good character
actually.
development.
It's
Oh,
hard.
thank
I'm
God.
just not even gonna bother trying to explain him because he's a whole nother thing. And then Videl is just a human, who is Gohan's wife. So she learned how to do flight and stuff like Gohan. They both look interesting, like cool characters, and it's kind of
Different
crazy that
movesets, obviously.
yes, and they just announced them and they're releasing them really soon, so that's pretty cool.
Dang.
And then they teased 2 new characters, which are going to be Broly and Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, which are cool characters, but we already have a Broly, so we're getting another Broly. Yeah, I know, right? All these words, don't know what those mean.
like,
I understand. The only Dragon Ball fan.
Broly.
It's hard
No,
to
it's good though. It's fine. It's fine.
like a
So,
Broly
but you already.
movie
So they
that's
just
like-
released
The
2.
problem with it,
That might
yes,
be interesting.
is that Broly was already a character they released prior, and this is just a different version of him. So it's just like, why are you wasting a character spot on a character that is basically the same as before? They've done it multiple times with characters prior, and I was hoping they wouldn't do it in this next season. But they're
too badly
continuing
you
it.
did.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks. It feels like you're just throwing away like a character slot for no reason.
That character's not right. Maybe they just don't have any. They're like, we want to implement this character, but we don't know a good move set or whatever. So we're gonna just wait for, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
Dang.
more filibuster.
Yep. There you
No,
go. There was
well,
the-
we got
there
a
was the
filibuster. Filibusters are over. Kind of wrapping up a little bit. Actually, Ryan, you bring up something good. I kind of want to show trailers, kind of sometimes when we talk about
I
these
wanted
games.
to
So
do
if
that
there's
as
a
well.
way we can,
That'd be pretty
yeah,
cool.
we can do an overlay. That's just
We
still
weren't
kinda
really
new.
ready.
Yeah, we
Today
were
we
not.
weren't really ready.
We're not ready.
Yeah.
But I can
Again,
set that up.
promise we lied to our audience. God, sad. Sad. You
Next
know, guys,
week there will
okay,
be trailers
next
in
week.
place.
Okay, next week, guys, it's going to be Lobby Talk at 7 o'clock sharp. And you know what we're going to do, Dan, to make sure that
I
happens?
don't know
We're going to
if
have a little
We can't do 7 o'clock sharp because Alex doesn't
8
get
o'clock.
off at 7.
8 o'clock sharp.
7:30.
And
8.
8 o'clock
8
sharp.
o'clock sharp. But we're going to do a 7:30. Here's my idea. 7:30 pre-show. Maybe a little music,
There
a
you
little
go.
bit of
Yes.
standing by. We're going to
Yes.
go live 30 minutes early. We
Yes.
might have a little goof, a little gap. We're going to have
Yes.
some pre-show music to
Yes.
ensure that we start on time, because it's really annoying me
Agreed.
that we're not starting on time. Plus, like, basically every podcast on Twitch has music in the beginning, so I'd feel like we're
In the starting scene.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds
come
like
on.
a great idea.
So, but yeah,
So
so if
next
you
week,
I mean, do we have
Sunday.
anything else to finish with, guys? Any interesting games you've been playing? Any interesting thoughts? I don't know.
Only
I
lately
gave
I've
up.
been playing.
I just gave up my Dragon Ball thoughts, so that was about it.
Yeah, those were good thoughts. Dan, you're done. You've given your thoughts. You don't have to give anything to the
All
class.
No
Hunter,
more thoughts.
what about you, Alex? No, I'm just kidding.
I can
No,
do
I
an
don't.
entire podcast on about Destiny, so
True, you make this podcast, Alex. If it wasn't for you, no one would
No.
watch us.
well,
What?
they're lucky. They're unlucky. I don't have the webcam this time.
I'm
Seems
sure we
like
don't.
True.
a house. They didn't give me that.
Don't
house
worry,
to
Alex.
do.
When we become famous streamers like Ninja, you can just quit your job.
Yep.
Easy. And then we can start the podcast at 7 instead.
And then I can yell at children and then get famous. There you go.
I got
Oh,
more than
thank
one
God.
podcast a week.
One podcast a week. But and also I
More
really
than
want to do either I also would like to do a pre-show, post-show stream. So depending on who's around, we can get other people in who aren't typically in the podcast. This is
Right.
all later down the line. I'm just
So-
kind of talking out loud for everyone. Maybe
Yeah.
a little pre-show.
Be here around
We'll post
7:30 then.
But yeah, we're gonna
True.
definitely have a 7:30 start where there's gonna be music and something maybe funny. Maybe I'll do a comedy sketch and kill. I don't freaking know what I'm even saying.
Anyways,
So
Anyways,
yeah, maybe I'll go on and juggle for an hour.
heck
we
yeah.
wait.
they're pretty epic.
I can't juggle, so it'd be kind of embarrassing for everybody involved.
That's,
I
That's
guess
all right.
I guess this does it for tonight. Episode 2 of the Lobby Talk, technically episode 3 of the Lobby Talk podcast is in the books. And I guess we'll see y'all 8 o'clock next Sunday. Be there or be square. See you guys.
Yeah.
Peace out, peeps.
Bye-bye.
Oh.